we are live.
Now we are live.
We made it.
We made it. Okay. Everybody out there, how you doing? Welcome to the Bandcave Hour. And we're back on track. We missed last week. I'm staring at the microphone, not even looking at the camera. We missed last week, just busy as hell, but we're back on schedule now. We have Xavier Wilson with us today. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Not bad. I'm cutting weight for the fight. I got to weigh in tomorrow, so.
I know, man. And tell us a little bit about all that stuff. And so the fight is Thursday.
Yes, the fight is Thursday at Cowboys Dance Hall.
Okay.
Doors open at 6. They should definitely have some general admission stuff. We're pretty much out of all the other tickets. Pretty much sold out.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, but we're gonna have some special for the show, so we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to go over.
Yeah.
So tell everybody and tell us too. I mean, this is my first time meeting you. How long you been fighting and boxing and everything and all this good stuff?
Little background on yourself.
Okay. Just getting into boxing because I actually have a long history with martial arts in general, but just from boxing, I started when I was 20. That's the first time I went into a boxing gym. I went to Grady Brewers in Lawton, Oklahoma. That's actually where I started. I'm not from there.
Okay.
We'll get to that too.
We'll get to that.
But about 7 months into training, I had my first fight, and then I had a bunch of amateur fights. I had about 14. I didn't have that many. I only had 14. Then I decided to turn pro. That was after moving here. So I moved here and I continued my amateur career for a little bit. I turned pro, I think, in 2016, 16 or 15. Wow. So and now I'm 10-0. I have one draw, and we were trying to set up something, but I don't know.
Yeah,
they want to do a rematch or anything. So
yeah, no.
We'll
so you're 10-0, and I've never personally been in a boxing match and came out with anything good. I've always been on the bad end of the stick on that, So I want to know, man, like
boxing lingo.
Preparation, and just let's start with preparation for a fight. I mean, we see all these movies and all this. What is it? Tell us how is it? Is it really tough? Is it? Yeah. It hurt. I mean,
What's it like to prepare for a fight? I guess what's the process?
Okay, so first you have to temper yourself to become a fighter. Okay, and the hardest part about that is getting discouraged all the time by all the different things that are going to happen to you during training. Yeah. And then continuing forward and deciding, okay, no, I'm just going to do my best. It's all about doing your best and competing with yourself. But at the same time, it's a paradox because you're literally in a square with another person that is trying to kill you. So that's literally the competition. Like, that is it. But then at the same time, like I said, it's about doing your best. Then again, you have to deal with the shame of losing and the heartbreak and all of that. But so it's all mental. Like people say it's 60-40, 70-30. I say it's 90% mental, 10% physical. But you need 100%. You need 100% just to pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to pass. So once you can mentally fix yourself, the physical stuff, we can give that to you. Okay, people are like, one of my favorite sayings, people are like, you can't teach speed. I'm like, watch me. Okay? Watch me. I will teach you speed. I will teach you flexibility, balance, reflexes. You can teach all of that as long as they want to do it. But then you get to a point where somebody that's bad at head movement is practicing head movement, right? And then you have to live drill it. So when they start getting hit and they get discouraged, they get away from it. Yeah, you can't teach them head movement because they don't want to do it. But the person that really wants to do it, they'll be bad at it first, and they'll get better, and then they'll master it. And that's kind of the key. It's all about choices. Yeah. So I think that's the hardest part. Other people, once you get into that, I mean, obviously cutting weight is really hard.
Well, I was about to ask you that because today we ate real healthy, didn't we, Jorge?
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Just nothing but tacos, I guess.
I'm trying to get back, trying to get back into the gym, and look all great for bikini season. But I'm acting stupid. Tell us, man, when does the diet have to start? And what can you eat? What can't you eat?
Yeah. It definitely starts with a lifestyle change because when I first started boxing, like I just said, you know what? And before I even got into the gym, I already knew I needed to be more lean and more. Not that I was overweight at all. I was never overweight, but I know I wanted to build lean muscle.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get fat. So I said,
of course, yeah.
If I can interrupt for a sec,
Yeah.
like that's kind of what I was gonna ask. Like, how did you get into, like, when was the like moment of, all right, I want to do this. Like, I want to take it to the next level. Because you're saying just now, like, you know what I mean? Like, when I first got into boxing, and I feel like there's definitely a bit of, like, in order to really, the lifestyle change implies a decision to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So, like, when...
Well, okay, so if we were going back, so now we're getting to the history, which I've gone over before, but, I can go over it, in a little bit in detail. There's 2 times where I made the decision, okay? When I was little and when I was an adult. Now, when I was little, when I was 4 years old, okay, I saw a Bruce Lee movie, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And I would copy him all the time. I would concentrate, and they weren't supposed to let us, let me into the class for karate. Yeah. My mom brought me to a karate place in her gym. She's been a personal trainer for like 20 years, so she was always in the gym and stuff. So I was there, and they said, "Oh, we don't take 4-year-olds," but they had their class, and I copied the entire class right outside of their door, and they saw me, and they were like, "Wow. All right, let's sign them up." So that's where I started, and I didn't get any black belts. I always moved schools, so I did I did 5-point Kempo karate was my first real school. I did a little bit of Kung Fu before that. And then I did Tien Shan Pai Kung Fu, and this is all in Baltimore, Maryland, where I'm from. Okay. I did a little bit of kickboxing, I learned a little Muay Thai from some people. I didn't learn any wrestling or jiu-jitsu until I moved to Texas, in McAllen. I learned some stuff from Chris Ponce, and he taught me some more things about delivering force and just kind of how to look at martial arts a little bit differently, because I was real traditional. Like, I was like, oh, there's styles, and then you try to learn from it, and then you try to learn Jeet Kune Do. I loved Wing Chun. I love learning that stuff. And then I kind of like opened my mind even more than it already was, and I was like, no, every martial art is just that. It's a punch, it's a kick, it's a throw. Like they're all the same. It's just they all have their own methods of doing things. Yeah. So
or style maybe even.
Yeah. So, I mean that's exactly what it's called. It's style. What style? What style do you have? And I started to look at boxing as a martial art, as well. And a lot of people don't. I'm writing a book called The Martial Art of Boxing, explaining how boxing was in the first Olympics. You know how many thousands of years ago that was? People are like, people think that the Queensberry Rules, which was, short 500 years, right? That's the history of boxing. And that's not, okay? It goes back to ancient Greece, right?
Really?
Yes. Oh my goodness. There's a statue. The first statue of a boxer is literally thousands of years old. Okay? It's a statue of a guy with hand wraps.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I can't remember the name. I think I actually posted it on my Instagram, but it's just there's history. Like if you want to go back to the first martial art, there's records, and it's very hard to find. It's in an Indian Sanskrit of Kaliripayat, or maybe another art, 6,000 years, and people thought that Chinese martial arts was the oldest at 4,000.
Whoa!
So. And people don't know these things. People don't understand, like, the cross references. Like, they all learn from each other.
Martial arts, is it from, like, where did that all start out? Like, did like you were saying, like, it goes back 6,000 years?
Yeah, that one was India. And, India's right next to China. Like, that whole area, there's a lot of monks there. So, India to Africa, like, that whole strip, you could probably say that combat kind of started, like artistry, like combat.
Right, because I guess like physical there. Like fighting for your life, that kind of stuff, like invading this person next to you's territory and back and forth, like that kind of stuff. I would imagine, somebody got tired of getting bullied around and started.
This was way before guns,
Yeah,
it's kind of like
they had rocks and hands.
Better learn how to kick some ass.
Yeah, they was tired of getting their ass whipped.
Or running from like a lion or something. Can you imagine? Like,
oh God,
dude. Yeah,
you had to be in really good shape back then.
Bro.
You couldn't eat at KFC like me and Jorge, and then
well, and that's another thing that speaks to like martial arts nowadays, because it's been so streamlined. Because back then, the way that they used to train, like. You used to work with a master, and a master would be very picky with their students because they already know that people are going to drop out, and you just literally like spar all the time. Like you would just fight your master all the time, and he would just royally F you up. Like he'd destroy you. So people would retire because, you know, they ended up with a broken leg or a broken arm or something like that because they couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like, they've learned kind of a little bit more of a balance, but then you have the McDojos that show up, which are not balanced at all. They're just literally like, they just want your money, and they take your kid and they say, you can do everything. Good job. When are you ready to test? And I'm like, what do you mean, when are you ready to test? You're supposed to tell me when I'm ready to test for my next belt. Like,
Right.
You're just trying to get that money. I got you. So
yeah.
that's like an imbalance, and people have to tap into that more primal part. And that's what I like about boxing, because it's still, even though it's such an old art, people have forgotten so much about the history about it that people look at it as more of a primal art. Yeah. It's the same with MMA, conventional MMA, as in the UFC and the Bellator and all that stuff. That started with the UFC. It started with, you know, a couple of leagues before that, but UFC blew up, right?
Yeah.
So the sport of MMA and UFC and MMA and the company of UFC are very young, but what they draw from is so old.
Yeah,
so old. So they're still developing, and so is boxing. But yeah, that's what I like to, you know, when I'm teaching and everything. But that you know, I told you about the first time that I made the decision. So then the second time, like, as I got older, you know, I got into a lot of different hobbies and decided I wanted to do a lot of it. I wanted to be a manga artist. I wanted to draw comics. I still have my storyboards, actually. I have 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
So you draw too?
I do draw. I probably, I don't know.
And you play a little music too, right?
I was going to say I probably draw better than I play. I was in like a band, like with my friend, you know. I was in guitar club. How that started was I saw my brother playing guitar, and I was like real competitive with him. That's also how I started drawing. Yeah. So I was like only better than him at something, but I also like really admired him. So I wanted to get good at something that he was good at.
Yeah.
So my brother Michael, he's the middle brother. I have an older brother, Eddie, who played baseball. Anyway, I started with a guitar club in middle school, and then they liked me a lot, so I would come back even when I moved on to high school to help teach and be part of the program still.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
And that was right before I moved here. And when I moved, or not here, I moved to McAllen.
Yeah,
when I moved to McAllen, I started playing classical guitar there and just kind of being a part of the program. I just did the lights, really. I'm not a glory person. I like to participate. I like to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then I was in a band for like one little show with my friend David Camacho.
Oh, cool.
And then I've written like a little music. I recently started writing raps. Yeah. And getting better at them. I didn't like rap growing up, as many people might be surprised to hear, judging by my appearance and growing up in Baltimore, Maryland. I hated rap growing up.
Did you really?
Then, yeah, not until I was 20, I really got into it. First rapper that I really got into was Tyler, the Creator. It was very offensive, actually. Yeah. But and him and Chance and Lupe Fiasco, all them. I love them.
What was your favorite music then, if rap
was rock and, you know, I listened to Dashboard Confessional like all the time. Super sappy music.
One, man. I'll raise my hand there with you on that
yes.
one too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You know, my favorite band of all time, Coheed and Cambria.
Oh, dude.
Favorite band of all time.
Sure.
I love them so much.
They're sick, dude.
Yeah, they're and their newest album came out. I'm going to their concert actually. They're the one in Austin. I'm going to their next one in the summer, in June or July.
They just came out with some stuff recently. Nick, I don't think
it was amazing.
I'm not familiar, man. I'm not too familiar. I've definitely heard the name for sure.
You uncultured swine.
I know. That's why. I think that's why, you know, the universe put me in this guy's path.
Gotcha.
He's opened my my ears and eyes to all kinds of different music and all that stuff. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good.
You should take me to that concert, man.
Dude, let's do it.
We should all go, man.
We should.
I gotta at least know a couple of songs before I go, so I can sing along or something. You know, like
I will indoctrinate
totally be a groupie or something.
See, like Nick has in turn he's educated me in the world of country, which is something that I was a little that I had I dabbled a little bit here and there, but Nick on the other hand is definitely.
Hey man, I'm from the East Coast. All right, so I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have anything against country. It's just that it scares me. Okay. It's like when we drove down here, we stopped at the gas station
You were
in
terrified.
McAllen.
Oh gosh.
I saw a banjo in a pickup truck, and I was unsettled. I was like, "Is that a band?"
A banjo, yeah. We don't like to talk about the banjo too often with
Yeah.
country music. If you notice all the new country music, it sounds like damn wannabe
Like
80s
pop,
80s
basically.
pop kind of rock.
Well, I was gonna say it's
Nah.
real pop nowadays.
And so for a guy that's been playing country music 23 years or something
yeah.
professionally, I listen to it sometimes, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes I just go, man, dude, why is it forced? Why is it forced?
I
Doesn't
a
have
soft
to be
spot
forced.
in my heart for Georgia, for Florida Georgia line a little bit. I have to say,
Florida Georgia line,
But-
yeah.
Damn.
but that's where I draw the line.
No comment.
Xavier.
No comment. It's not bad. It's not bad, but music evolves, music changes and everything.
Yes,
you
it
know,
does.
you know. And I'll be honest, when I was kind of opposite, when I was in middle school, all my friends were listening to. I'm a little bit older than you guys. I know I don't look it, but no, we listened to a lot of rap music, and
Yeah.
I didn't even know what the hell I was listening. I didn't even know what some of it meant. And
Well, see,
going
and
back
that's-
now, I'm like,
that's
damn,
why I
that was
hated
that was some bad shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was like-
it was really bad, and that's why I hated it, because all I heard was on the radio, and it had no meaning. But then, like, I touched on, like, artists like Saba, and a lot of people that don't know about him. I mean, you got Kendrick Lamar nowadays who hit it big mainstream-wise,
Yeah.
but if you actually break his stuff down, he is incredibly intelligent and motivational. Saba
yeah.
is, like, super like, he talks about good things, and he talks about things that happen, but he does good for the community. And people
Yeah.
are like, you know, rap music is so bad, like it's the only thing that's making people want to go out and kill and rob. And I'm like, okay.
Some of it is, and then and
Okay.
I don't. That's the thing too.
Some of rock music does the same exact thing.
that's
Y'all
the
say
thing.
nothing,
That pigeonhole. You know, like
Yeah.
not every. Just because you rap doesn't mean you have to rap about killing somebody or
Exactly.
you know
Just like I guess I kind of like if you write
bitches
a
and
country
hoes
song,
or whatever, just disrespecting everybody. It's like
Yeah.
man, it doesn't it doesn't have to be that way.
That's right.
You know, and so but I didn't know any better. You know,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, The Chronic. We wore that album out.
Oh Lord.
And Tupac,
classic
Notorious
one.
B.I.G. Early '90s is when I was in middle school.
Mm.
Mid '90s actually.
That's
yeah,
when I was
middle
born.
middle school was like late '90s for me, so it's like definitely the Chronic was like for sure.
It was still there, right? It was
Yeah.
still there. That album was still popular. Yeah.
Yeah. For
I listen to
sure.
that stuff now just to go back and kind of now that I have somewhat of a brain, and I go, man, I was really listening to that.
Yeah.
That's
like-
But it's-
that's
Well,
terrible.
I was.
It's mean. It's
Yeah,
just
I was like-
straight up. It's like
Yeah.
it's like I really hope these guys aren't really that bad because man,
It depends a lot.
Scary dudes.
Some of them talk about their experiences so that they can draw people in, and then they'll have more songs that are a little bit more meaningful. Like I was saying, Saba, like, he made a an album called Care for Me, and that's the latest album. It was about his cousin, Wilt, John Wilt, getting killed. Now, John Will, he grew up with his cousin, and he has a song about it, about how they lived on the same street, but they didn't even know that. It was kind of a secret kept with their parents. Like, they just didn't tell each other. One of them took the bus. They went to the same school. One of them took the bus. One of them got a car ride.
they didn't know they
right?
were brothers.
They were cousins. But
Cousins,
They didn't
I'm sorry,
know
I'm
that
sorry,
they
I'm sorry.
didn't know that they were right down the street from each other until prom, where he fronted him money to get his tuxedo. He gave his cousin, because his cousin hooked him up with a date.
Yeah.
Because the girl that he wanted to take broke his heart, and then his cousin hooked him up with a date. He talks about it in the song. It's so awesome. But anyway, cousin got killed over senseless violence over a coat, not the stupid stuff, and
Wow.
he started the John Wilt Foundation. So they provide scholar, and this is in Chicago. Chicago's rough.
Oh my God.
So they provide scholarships for kids that can keep up, with their grades and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a rec center. They're just trying to help kids.
No,
and
that's
keep
all
up
that
with-
matters. Yeah.
And nobody ever talks about that kind of stuff when rappers do it. They just talk about
they want
when
to talk about all
hear-
the bad stuff.
Yeah,
Who
and
beat
they-
up who or
Yeah, and
who
then
went
they
to
talk
jail.
about like, you hear Kendrick Lamar when he was rapping the liquor, the pool full of liquor, and you dive and pool full of liquor, right? you even know the reasoning behind that song. Like that whole album is a story. It's a concept. It's a story of this kid that gets beat up and robbed on the streets, and then he goes to a party to kind of shake it off, and then him and his friends decide to go and try to beat up those people that robbed them, but somebody gets shot, and that's when at the end of the album he decided Kendrick, and it happened Kendrick Lamar, he decided he don't want nothing to do with the street life because of that.
Yeah,
that dude died. Like he don't want nothing to do with it, so he's trying to discourage people. But he just made a song because that was that part of the story.
Yeah.
So it's just people taking things out of context. But
I'm
sorry, we got completely off. We're talking about the
it's okay.
My decision.
That's what this is.
Right.
We can just
we're just talking about stuff.
Just think and speak. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And,
but okay. Getting into
decision, the big one.
Yeah. So I was in college. I was in ROTC, contracted. So they were paying for my college, and they were paying me, and I was going to class and all that stuff. And I was doing fine. My first semester, I got like a 3.7. The next semester, started going down. Next semester, started getting more and more depressed, right? At some point, I wasn't showing up for any class other than the ROTC class.
Yeah.
And if I had a psych class, I would go to that. Or philosophy class, or like something for my psych major. I was a psych major. I would go to that. But everything else, I really didn't care about. There was one class I didn't go the entire time, and I just took the final, and he let me pass. I told him I was in the hospital or something. I don't know. I lied. It was horrible. But the point is, like, I've always been smart, but if I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. So I got more and more depressed. That's actually when I got into fighting games, and this is actually a thing. So I played video games all my life. Okay?
Yeah.
I was born in '92, so like I'm kind of like right before every household had internet.
Yeah.
And then right when we got like cable, like having TV all the time, like I was right before, and then like probably like 6 years old to 6 to 10 years old, I learned how to use computers, and that was awesome. But
you're very lucky. I didn't have a computer in my house till I was 17 years old. Can you
Ooh,
believe it?
What?
Swear to God, man. Swear to God, it was
my dad's really good with them. He built
1998 or something, or 99 or whatever.
Taco Bell.
And that's about the same time as me, because I was born '92, so I was like 6 at '98.
So that's when it all started, but I didn't know what the hell to do. We didn't have a computer class, and I think there was computer classes, but I didn't take one.
Yep.
And
by that
now
time,
I use a computer every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
In the palm of your hand.
I'm still learning.
Completely in the palm of your hand. I remember my computer class, we had the like actual legit like floppy still.
Yep.
Floppy disks.
Yep, I still have floppy disks.
And it was like, what? Like,
yeah. And then they got those. Remember those Fatback Macs?
Yes. Yeah.
Then we got those. Those were brand new. We were like, oh.
They don't sell anything to read floppy disks anymore, do they?
Oh man!
Would it be an extension? Would it be a thing you'd have to just order it, like go on eBay
USB powered probably like floppy disk reader from Amazon probably.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen one of those, dude, since I was
2000s, 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s
but
for
no,
sure.
We're talking so this is the 3-inch, right? We're talking. Do you remember the legit the
big
ones that were actually floppy?
Never actually used those.
Like a little smaller than like a 45 record, like a little bit bigger than a CD, but it was square, right?
Yes.
And you could open it up, and then the little yes, I remember. Okay, that I was in elementary school when I first saw that.
That's crazy.
I saw more computer stuff in elementary school than I did in high school.
Yes, dude. That's where all the games were. Like that's where the Oregon Trail.
Don't have any take all your magnets out of your backpack, kids.
Gosh.
All your magnets. Is there a magnet on your belt buckle, Mr. Hernandez? I'd be like, no. You could totally ruin this whole room.
Yep. Yeah. Man, things have gone so crazy with like
magnets.
The last 30 years, completely different. Like that's so crazy. Like, you can literally throw a magnet at your iPhone, and you'd be fine. Like,
yes. We put them on top of speakers.
Yeah.
And speakers are like giant magnets, and it's just like, I'm.
Didn't I say that the other day? I was like having a moment, and we were messing with I'm sure we were messing with the computer, and didn't I have a magnet or something? And I was like, am I allowed to put this next to this hard drive? And you were like, Nick, you're such an idiot. Yes. That's right. It was a speaker out of a speaker box. And of course, it's a big magnet. And I'm putting it there. Oh man, did I wipe the whole session out?
Yeah, Nick, it's 2019. Okay.
I know. I was having a flashbacks to my third grade year,
Yeah.
You got traumatized having nightmares
with a counselor. Don't get that magnet near that computer.
Confiscating your stuff.
So funny. Anyway, but yeah, I know.
So yeah, okay. So I got into fighting games and I started playing competitively a little bit. I played in a couple of local tournaments. So we get to play for money.
Street Fighter 2, I think you had mentioned it before, right?
Street Fighter 4 was where I really started competitive. So I played Dead or Alive before that. I played stuff like that. But I didn't even understand like the concept of combos and frame data and like reading stuff like that. Like you get into that, I'm going to tell you right now, the people, if you're shitting on esports, you need to shut your mouth and you need to give it a try. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now that the training that I did for Street Fighter 4 is very, very similar mentally to the training that you do for fighting. Because you're dominating another person, okay? The another person is trying to control the character to hit you, land hits, beat you, and style on you, okay? It's all is the biggest thing is to express yourself through your martial art with fighting, and that's the same thing in these fighting games. You choose a character that speaks to you, that you feel, and then you learn their friend, you learn these combos, and people think that, oh, you learn combos, it's easy, you just mash the buttons in the right order. No, it is timing. I'm gonna tell you right now, Street Fighter 4 had one frame links. To where if you press one punch and then you press another punch, you have to press it within a 60th of a second of the punch ending for the next punch to hit, or else the other person can block. That's how the combos work, right? Whoa. So that's a 60th of a second, bro. And that's a tight link, a one frame link. Not all. Sometimes there's 3 frame links. Those are easier. Two framers are hard and stuff. And there's different methods to learning how to do them. Yeah. You guys ever seen those arcade sticks? You hold the stick, you get the buttons, right? So like on the stick, it's really easy to plink. And what you do is you press medium punch and light punch, right? If you press them at the same time, medium punch comes out. So what you do is
you have to time it.
Well, within a 60th of a second, if I know that I press heavy punch and then medium punch can link, but it's one frame link, is really hard. So I can double my input by pressing medium punch, but slapping onto light punch at this like within a 60th of a second, real close. It'll double the input, essentially turning it into a 2 frame link, which makes it a little bit easier. It's called plinking, is priority linking, because medium punch always comes out whether you press them both or not.
Really?
It's hard to explain.
Yeah, no.
But that's just to give you guys a look at the depth.
Of a second.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
I didn't realize it. Now think about that. 60th of a second.
It's a flam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it's a flam, but I mean, you have to do it like with the certain.
Yeah, we have to do it with your fingers.
And this is why you're fighting. This isn't like they're gonna sit there and like, hey, go ahead and get that combo. Like, no, like I hit him with the first hit. Hopefully, I get this freaking combo, or else I drop it. People make jokes and memes about dropping combos. Like they'll show somebody like Ryu from Street Fighter, and he dropped his McDonald's tray. It's like a combo, and then they'll say like this pro player. They'll just send him that picture, and because he keeps dropping his combos, it's like, oh. Anyway,
drop his combo.
Yeah,
the three quarter pound.
Yeah, the quarter pound
special. The double quarter pound, drop the combo.
You hit him.
I've never done that.
Special. Never.
I've never dropped the combo.
Me neither. I'm obsessed with food, by the way. I love tacos. I love burgers and pizza, and peanut butter and jelly is my favorite food. I know how to make it the best. Shout out to my dad.
Can you eat kind of whatever you want while you're training? I mean, aren't you burning so many?
Absolutely not.
Okay, no. That's what I was going to ask you earlier.
So we got into the gaming part, right? And that's like competitive gaming and stuff like that, expressing yourself and all that. And then I realized, right, I wasn't expressing myself by going into the military. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it was a solid plan. It would have been great. I would have a job and everything, be able to have kids and all that stuff easy. But I chose to drop out of college and owe ROTC my money for the first 2 years of school. I owe them still to this day. I decided to go into the hole and say, I'm going to be some college dropout kid that wants, I'm going to sell my mixtape. I'm going to sell my mixtape. But instead of a mixtape, I said I want to be a fighter.
And when did you know that that's what you wanted to do? Was it because of
when
the games?
I got that depression? No, well, that was part of it. That helped me realize it, because I was like, this is just a substitute for martial arts for me.
Yeah.
I want to fight, and I've always wanted to fight since I was little. And I've traded school so many times and moved around. I told you I've been to Baltimore. I moved down to McAllen, Texas, right? And in Baltimore, we moved like 3 times.
So your family, your dad or your mother is military or
no. My brother that played baseball, he played in Edinburgh.
Okay.
And then he saw it's real cheap to live down there, so we decided to just bring out the whole family down there. Right, now my brother Michael, the middle brother that I look up to, I look up to both of them really, but I like followed him a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah,
is what I mean. He joined the military. He's a major now. He made major last year.
Really?
I'm so proud of him. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, he's so good. Yeah, he's
that
military,
awesome.
but no, neither of them. So we came down here or down there, and then when I dropped out, I moved in with Michael, my military brother.
Yeah.
And I live with him, and because mom and dad, they'll coddle me. They'll give me rides. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 22. Okay, they'll drive me everywhere. I moved in with him when I was 20. And I turned 21. I had my first fight. I got my own job there. I rode the bus. They would pick me up if they had to, like, because sometimes I would work both jobs the same day. I worked at Sears in the morning, and then I'd take an hour off, and then I'd work at Chick-fil-A at night, and then I'd be off at 9 p.m. The buses didn't run. The buses stop at 6 p.m. in Lawton, small town. I hate that place. Oh, my God. And then so they would give me a ride, but also I would just ride my bicycle home, which was a good, probably like 6 miles.
So you were getting in shape whether you wanted to or not, right?
I mean, yeah. But I was also running around my block. Like, people think like, oh man, people is running like 4 miles easy and stuff, like they could just do that. Okay, I started running around my neighborhood. Okay, just like a sedentary fat person. All right, and then I started running to the school, and then getting better on my own. This is before I even went to the boxing gym. So then my brother told me about the boxing gym, Grady Brewer. He was the number 6 middleweight in the world. He won the 2nd season of the Contender back when it first started.
Yeah.
Right? And he was really good and all this stuff. And I met him, and I shook his hand, and I went to the gym, and I paid my dues. I paid for my membership, and I started in MMA there because they had a little MMA program that was too spotty. And I was like, well, I'm gonna box too, so I need to learn everything. My whole dream is to become a teacher and have my own school.
Yeah.
After I fight, so I need to learn everything. Yeah. So and then I just fell in love with boxing because I found out how deep it was.
Yeah.
And I learned from my original coach, my old coach, Coach Gibbs, and it's actually it was his birthday, I think, yesterday. I said happy birthday to him. Happy birthday, Coach.
Happy birthday, Coach Gibbs.
Yeah. And then I met my coach here, Coach Stacy, and he's taking care of me and taking me to the pro game.
Yeah.
And they're both like I don't have a lot of father figures.
Yeah.
Like, other than my actual dad, because my actual dad is very hard to measure up to. Okay, people look at these celebrities and look up to them, and they look up to teachers and gym teachers and all this stuff, and I look up to them.
Yeah.
But I don't hand out that father figure title.
Just anybody.
No, I really don't. So like both my coach, I accidentally called Coach Gibbs dad one time. Like I like straight up, like I call him dad, and I was like, oh, and he's like, it's fine, and because he's like that to me, and the same thing with Stacy, you know. So that's just where kind of the relationship started.
Yeah.
And then we started this. We were talking about my decision because of the lifestyle change and what that entails. And dieting, like my first year of boxing, I didn't eat any red meat whatsoever, except for maybe pork with when I would cheat to have pizza.
Yeah.
When I would cheat and have pizza, I'm gonna have some pepperoni. I'm sorry.
Of course.
But otherwise, even like my breakfast foods, I wouldn't even do sausage or anything. Like, I would just do
like red meat for a year.
Yeah, chicken and fish. Chicken and fish for like a year. Now you temper yourself and you learn things. The biggest thing that's so counterintuitive, which is actually what a rapper was talking about. He said, people see me live this disciplined lifestyle, and they say, you don't have any freedom because you're stuck in all this discipline. That's completely counterintuitive to the truth, because the truth is, I have all this freedom because I have all this discipline.
Exactly.
I have this
like
freedom.
That.
I can do whatever I want because I have this discipline. And once you learn that discipline, then you learn to let go and when you can't do things. Like I said, I love tacos. I love burgers. That's red meat. I love bison. I love it.
Oh man,
all.
I do too.
But I have the discipline to be able to cut it out and say, all right, I need to I need to make weight. I need to train properly for this fight and maintain my body properly. So, all that stuff, like, and then you get motivation from different places everywhere. Yeah. Like, I get motivation from people that tell me, they believe in me. And then I also get motivation from people that keep trying even though they don't have everything. Like one of my biggest motivators is Marshall Marks. He's an amateur boxer. Okay, and this dude ain't got no legs. And so they started amateur boxing with Shaman. And Shaman started it. Amateur amputee boxing. Because it wasn't part of USA Boxing. USA Boxing bought him out because he made it. They said no at first, and he created it, and then they bought it out because it was succeeding. So part of his first couple of shows, I introduced Marshall to him, and Marshall couldn't get a fight 'cause he's a double amputee. Yeah. Okay, so nobody in MMA wanted to fight him now. It could happen, but nobody wanted to fight him. Think about it. Like, if you beat him, you beat an amputee, and if you lost, you lost to an amputee. Like, you lost to a dude with no legs. Like, nobody wanted to take that risk, especially because my man's had real, like, he will actually slap the shit out of you, dude. Like, he grab you, you like, ah! Like, you can't get away, bro. It's over. He got strong hands because he'd be walking on his hands sometimes. Like, come on. Anyway, wow. I was there. I've coached him for most of his fights. I coached him for his first fight, and I just love working. But I see this dude. He came for his second fight. He came in, had his boxing stuff on, and he just starts jumping rope.
Wow.
This dude has no legs.
How did that?
And you got people in the gym. I can point out right now. We can go to UFC gym right now, and everybody else is gonna start doing jump rope, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's gonna be some people that like, I can't do jump rope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at them like,
oh, you can, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, there's a guy over there with no legs that can do it, so you better fix it and figure it out. But anyway, that's one of the biggest motivators for me, and seeing people like that. Miss Jennifer, she was 54 years old when she started boxing. She was overweight. She couldn't run from here to the door. Okay.
54.
And she got to the point where she could run 8 miles, 10 miles. She couldn't run from here to the door. She was like 250 pounds, and she lost 100 pounds. And then we got her. She was sparring, real sparring, like sparring with younger people and girls and boys. And she loved boxing. She supported me for a lot of my career. Actually, she actually gave me private lessons because I couldn't pay for them myself.
Yeah.
And the people that around me that believe in me, that's part of the.
So she started at 54 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder
52 or 54, either way.
I wonder if it was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this now and that's it, or was it just like
she just fell in love with it?
That is so cool, man.
But seeing that, and then those people
crazy.
believing in me and giving me support, and there's a million other people I can name that do it. And then, the intrinsic motivation, just seeing things like watching Bruce Lee, watching all these different martial artists, and then watching boxers and seeing their story, really looking at them, right? Not just looking at what the media shows you. Like, look them up. And then, anime, watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Right? Watching Goku and Vegeta, watching Goku train all day. Like, of course, like as a kid, I was like, I want to fight like Goku. That's amazing.
I want to fight.
Yeah. Hajime no Ippo is an anime about boxing. And it's really motivational. It's actually got some they touch on a lot of actual techniques. Like the Dempsey roll is Jack Dempsey. Like, that's the most famous move in the show. There's a lot of other shows that are moves that are real in that show. The gazelle punch, it sounds funny, right? Because they use the leg strength of the gazelle to jump. Like, right? Yes. They jump into an uppercut. That's a real punch from Floyd Patterson.
I did not know
Floyd
that
Patterson actually did that punch. Floyd Patterson was just before Muhammad Ali, right?
Wow.
The heavyweight champion just before Muhammad. Yeah. Anyway,
speaking of that, we need to tell the people that are tuning in about our questions. Did we already put those out, Jorge, about winning the tickets to Thursday's fight?
I was gonna wait for another, we're 45 minutes in, but we still haven't actually gotten to the point,
right,
of you coming into doing the dieting and kind of getting ready to the fight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted
I know
to
we
remind
touched on
people.
some different things.
I just wanted to remind people that
there's some trivia
for these awesome stuff.
For these beautiful $65 balcony seats. All right, these are probably the best view of the ring because the balcony is right over the ring. So, and we got 2 of them here. Okay, So this will be given away. I'm gonna ask some trivia questions, but we'll get to that. We'll get to
yeah,
that.
We'll
So,
get to that. Yeah, cool. I
you
just
know,
want to remind folks tuning
lifestyle
in
change.
so they won't think
Don't
that,
forget.
we're not giving some cool stuff away.
Yeah, don't forget.
But yeah. So I'm sorry. Back to the not just the dieting, but the fighting and preparing and all that stuff.
Right. So okay, preparing. I usually about a month or really 6 weeks is a good training camp. Now I came into this fight, off of my other training camp, because I fought February 14th in Brownsville. So February 14th, March 28th is barely 6 weeks.
Barely
so
6 weeks.
I took 3 days off and then I got right back on it. So there you go.
Wow.
You gotta spar, right? You gotta spar good guys. Good guys. I sparred the main event for this one. The main event of my fight is Kendo Castaneda. He's undefeated San Antonio champion. Like he's
Awesome.
the NABF champion at 140 pounds. So he's ranked, I think, number 13 in the world right now.
Wow.
He's really good. So he's the main event, and I've sparred literally, and I'm not exaggerating, literally hundreds of rounds with him.
Wow.
Because we sparred pretty much my entire pro career and a little bit of my amateur career. So I've done so much with him. I've learned so much from him because he had like 150 amateur fights. So I need that. I sparred with Gilbert Venegas, a guy that fought him recently, a very good 10-rounder.
Yeah.
And that dude, man, he's a hard hitter, and he's got great timing. And he didn't have as much amateur experience. He's similar to me. Like, I didn't have a lot, but I try to learn from other people. And he does the same thing. He learns from those people, and he takes that experience, and he gets better. He's gotten better since his fight with Kendo. He's gonna kill it. Like, he's gonna move up in weight because when he fought Kendo, he was drained. It was too low for him. So he should probably fight at 147.
I was just about to ask you, like, I don't know exactly all the steps for preparing for boxing, but do you study a lot of tape of the opponent?
Oh,
and
man.
I mean, I'm talking like, and you said you're into video games and stuff, so this may come second nature to you to just watch this, and then how do you plan to your regimen to get ready for that?
Film study is super important to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Film study is hyper important to me. Not just to watch film of the person that you're fighting. You need to watch film.
Period.
So, just a film. I used to watch Friday night fights every Friday. I didn't know anything about boxing at the time. I mean, I knew a little bit. Just I'm a martial artist since I was 4. That's 22 years. But I didn't know those boxers.
Yeah,
I was just watching to see what can I pick up. This works, this doesn't work, this works. And then I stumbled across Coach Barry Robinson with this thing called A Million Styles Boxing. Right? He invented that. He used to have his stuff all over YouTube. And then he took it all. He wiped. Sometimes he's real enigmatic. Right?
Yeah,
He's an enigma. So sometimes he'll disappear. He'll wipe all of his stuff off the internet. And he still has it, obviously, but then he'll open up his account again like a year later or something. Anyway,
Wow.
he has his own website now, so you have to actually pay a membership to see all these film studies, and it is more than worth it because you'll see like a fight and somebody will, they'll be moving, going like this, and they'll feint, and they'll 1, 2, here, right, and then they'll end up hugging, right, clinching.
Yeah.
And first of all, people don't understand that clinching is not illegal. Excessive clinching and holding is. Clinching is actually a part of boxing. There's certain techniques that you do in that you don't see. So what this dude would do is he would pause it, and he had a Mac, right? So he would like frame by frame through these videos and show you, okay, look, Roberto Duran's perfect clinch example, right?
Yeah.
He would touch one hand, right? And his head would be on this side, and the other guy's head would be on this side. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna use my right hand. He would touch it, right hand, come out the middle, and then he'll switch sides and guide the person's head to certain places so that he could hit them, so he could deliver these punches. That's real martial arts right there. Those are techniques that it's not just drilling like, like, oh, I'm gonna drill my punches. Make sure I have a good one. Make sure I have a good one too. Like this is strategy. This is like, all right, so when their head's over here, and I hook them and they go under. Yeah. Instead of just missing the hook, I'm going to turn that hook into head control, holding their head this way, and then hit them with this one. Boom. Right? Yes. That's a mental change. And part of that mental, it comes from training camp, and that's a big thing. So, like, you need to be able to, and you need to know what to look for.
Yeah, see, I
But
would
you
be
need
totally
to be
lost.
yeah, because a lot of people watch boxing. Like, okay, a perfect example. You watch the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. That was a fun fight for me to watch. For me, and I understand that it wasn't an exciting fight for everyone. Like, it didn't have like knockdowns and crazy stuff happening. But the way that Mayweather was changing rhythm to mess up Pacquiao's rhythm, because Pacquiao started doing some real clever shit.
Yeah.
He started doing some real clever stuff. That's how he caught him. And that's what. And Mayweather, even after the fight, he said, there's little things that Pacquiao does in the ring that a lot of people don't understand, don't know, and that's what makes him great. He truly is great. Yeah. That's another thing about Mayweather you don't see is that he's actually very respectful to his opponents. After every fight, he tells them that was a great fight. This person's a great fighter. He told Canelo after he beat him.
Yeah.
After he beat Canelo's ass, and Canelo fouled him twice. Remember, Canelo freaking bumped his shoulder, and he hit him low, super low.
Yeah, yeah.
Super low, on purpose. It looked real on purpose. Like, it was his leg, dude. Anyway, he told him, "You're the future of boxing." And look, today, he is. He told him, he said, "You're the future. This is a great world champion. You're the future of boxing." But everybody always talks about Floyd Mayweather talking trash. Anyway, that's a different subject. That's a different subject.
I know. That's totally different.
I don't even want to get into the persona of boxing and everybody, because if you want to go back, man, Muhammad Ali was almost as hated as Floyd Mayweather.
Oh yeah,
he was almost as hated as Floyd, not just for the draft and the draft dodging, but before that, just talking shit, man.
Oh, well, that was his thing.
He came up talking. He said, "Sonny Liston, you're done. It's over." He called out the round that he's gonna knock him out in, and then he did it. That was the tripped out part. Anyway, the lifestyle change, stuff like that started. That really started with Gibbs. Gibbs really, mental change. Like, Gibbs would say some crazy stuff, man. He would say he said, "Look, when you're in the ring, what's the referee's job?" And then to make sure he followed rules, he's like, "The referee's job is to stop the homicide."
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Your job. What's your job? To commit a homicide. If you get real technical, legally, if that person dies, they sign a contract. Yeah. It's legal. You don't go to jail. Do it. Do your best. After the fight, y'all can be friends. I don't care. When you get in the ring, what's the referee's job? To stop the homicide. What's your job?
I never looked at it that way, man. It's true.
That's why they used to call them killers.
Like Rocky IV, right?
Hey, like killer. Yeah, remember?
Oh yeah.
Ivan?
Yeah, Ivan Drago.
Kill my boy.
I must break you.
What is Throw in the damn time.
Throw in the time.
Throw in the damn time.
I love that movie. But that could happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can die in there. I mean, you risk your life every time you step into those ropes. You don't know what the other person can do to you or what might happen by mistake. And the thing is, they're trying to kill you on purpose. That's the thing. They're trying to kill you. But the point is, he would say some stuff like that, and that triggered. I was like, okay. He used to say, "Listen, when you in there, you gotta whip them, okay, and you gotta beat them. Now, when a dog does something." You train a dog. Dog does something you're not supposed to do. You can't talk to him. You got to beat him. You gotta beat them like a dog and whip them like a slave.
God dang.
That's the kind of and people try to get racial about it. I'm like, calm down. Calm down.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Everybody was slaves, but yeah, I know exactly. that was real fresh. That was a little soon, but he was like, beat him like a dog. And whip him like a slave. Gosh. That's Cody Gibbs. And that mentality change, and then you have the duality because that's in the ring, and then out of the ring, you just be who you are, but you have to learn how to change that.
Does the adrenaline just take over, or how are your nerves before a fight? Like, do you get kind of the butterflies, sick to your stomach, almost kind of throw up, or are you just so ready to go you don't care, or is it all mental, like you said, or is you're just more focused here? I'd probably be scared shitless, personally.
I get. Everyone's scared. Everyone should have a healthy amount of not fear, like scared of things happening, but just
the
awareness,
just the whole deal in general. Man, we're under the lights. There's people watching. Shit.
Just the awareness that what the referee's job is. Okay. Yeah. Remember that.
Remember the homicide. Right? This could be a homicide.
It don't matter how many people watching. You in a fight. Damn. Okay. This ain't no street brawl where you get knocked out one punch and then they leave you alone for the most part. Nah. You get knocked down, they give you 10 seconds to get back up so you can get your ass whooped some more. Like, it's not a game. You can't play boxing. It's a sport, yeah, but it's not a game. Okay, you're really trying to kill somebody. So, as far as me, I've always performed under pressure. Like in guitar club, back in middle school, like I would play. I wasn't the fanciest, but I would play, and for the most part, I wouldn't mess up, because I wanted to do it right, and I practiced a lot for it. I place a lot of faith in my practice and stuff like that. But
I always ask because I'm actually a little more comfortable on stage in front of a ton of people versus even like this thing, and we're in front of a lot of people, but they're not even here. This is more relaxed, and I get, I guess it's when you're out of your comfort zone.
Well, obviously. It has to be if you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
Like, I love fighting, so it's like that takes over, and
exactly.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, but I'm not gonna get. I don't get sick to my. I mean, different people respond differently. I don't get sick to my stomach. My heart beats faster when I start to imagine myself in the fight because I do a lot of visualization. So I'll think, I'm thinking about the fight, like how it's gonna go, what I'm gonna do first, what I'm gonna do this. But then, you gotta relax and you gotta have fun.
Yeah.
At the same time, you gotta relax and have fun. And this is another paradox of boxing: relax and have fun. Kill someone.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. He just said relax and have fun, but you could be dead. You could die.
And you're trying to kill someone.
By the way, but yeah. While you're trying to kill that guy or die yourself, relax and have fun, sir.
Yeah.
It's like that's ridiculous.
Just have fun.
It's ridiculous.
Just like throwing a punch.
But I do enjoy watching it. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever be in the ring myself because I don't have as much dedication as you, and I haven't been as thin as you since like 8th grade or something. So
heavyweight.
I'm very jealous.
Heavyweight.
I'm very jealous,
exactly.
Go for
There's
it.
always heavyweight. Nick.
Yeah, you could be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Oh yeah, me. Yeah.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, man. Deontay Wilder got you.
I'd be better.
Don't fight him.
I'd be better just in the stands drinking beer.
Hey.
Well, but I mean,
shouting random shit. Kick him!
Kick his ass!
Kick him!
Kick his ass! You can do
boxing.
it. Like it's so easy.
Kick him!
You can do it, Nicky.
I want to see a homicide.
Kick his fucking ass, Nicky.
Kick his ass! Oh my gosh.
But yeah, man, that's
okay,
I guess that's what goes
this?
into it.
What about the post? Just because I mean, I can't really like the short little sort of like. I remember the way that you put it, like that smoker, the glorified sparring or the high profile sparring.
Yeah,
dude, the whole day afterwards, and then even the next day, like this like sort of tiredness.
Oh,
and
gosh.
You gotta take days off.
Coming down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those 10 minutes go by so quickly. They're a blur. And then afterwards, you're like, I couldn't breathe for a little bit, and then I was all right. And then as soon as I got home, I just conked out for like 3 or 4 hours, and it was crazy. Yeah,
it's all here.
I saw that video that you showed me. That was.
Man, well, everyone did great that day. He did good too.
Dude, I don't know. Like I'm saying, I've never done this, so when I'm watching the video, I'm going, wait a minute, that's you? Yeah. and you tell me that, like, was it 2 minutes or 3 minutes? You said felt like. An hour.
It feels like a good 5 minutes, and then you're like, it's been a minute? What the hell is happening?
It
feels long.
When you're in there, in the actual, like, when it's happening, it feels like it's taking forever. And then when it's done, the tape all kind of blends together, and it feels like one long round. So,
wow.
But yeah.
That's why, and you see, that's another thing about training. That's why I like when I do my rounds when I'm cutting weight, and my last 2 weeks, I do everything for 10 minutes. Okay, so like people jump rope for 3 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And people do rounds 3 minutes at a time because that's what you fight at. And I'm like, well, I know that my mind is gonna trick me and make me feel like the 3 minutes feels like 10 minutes. So why don't I just train for 10 minutes? So I'll jump rope for 10 minutes straight, and then I'll shadow box for 10 minutes straight, no resting. And then you hit the bag, 10 minutes straight, no resting. And that's a lot different, and it helps you.
Yeah, of course. I would think so.
Your mental, and that's what's it. It's mental. It's mental.
Remember, 90%
You'll sweat
mental.
more. You sweat more if you think something's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
If you think anything is going to happen, you sweat more. So imagine yourself in a fight first of all, you already think that you're gonna die, and then second of all, you see the person in front of you about to throw a punch, right? They're like, as soon as they faint, I just thought I was gonna get hit, and now and that was literally a millisecond of time. In the next second, you might not be getting hit. The next second, you actually get hit. The next second, you got hit in the body. Now you can't breathe. The next second, you think they move. You throw a punch and they make you miss, and then you're like discouraged. And you're like, man, I can't even hit him back.
Yeah.
I gotta
rethink this whole thing. I gotta rethink this whole thing.
Rethinking your whole life.
I don't want to die.
Yeah.
I'd probably just fall down. And it just 10 seconds counted off. Go ahead.
Tap. Yep. Take a knee. But
after 10 seconds or something. No,
yeah,
but I have a lot of respect, man, for the dedication and for the sport. And that's why I'm asking all these goofy questions. You're probably going, this guy's an idiot, man.
No. Great questions.
I'm trying to kind of dumb it down for people tuning in that have no idea. Because I'll be honest, I've never asked these questions to anybody, and I've known people that have done this before. I just. Well, I was a little scared to ask him, actually.
It's a world but it's funny though, because I know a lot of people that sort of have music hand in hand with martial arts. Like, dude, Nick, you know Jim Calzen?
Yeah, Jim. Yeah, he's a bass player.
I don't know what he practices, but the dude's got
definitely.
I hope I'm not mistaken, but I know it's a black belt. I think it's a black belt in something, but. I know that
Taekwondo or something.
Yeah, bass player. He probably slap hard as shit,
dude.
Slapping the bass, man.
Probably.
And I'm gonna slap your face and slap the bass.
Man, like, shout out to Jim if you're watching. Like, this is.
Oh yeah. He's. I think Kerry did say he's like a black belt.
And then also my buddy Roy Eastwood is also up there, and he's been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time. And then I think my buddy Jerry Muskies is watching. Shout out, Jerry, if you're still there. I saw that you logged in. But he Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu, and then he's an excellent drummer percussionist.
That's awesome.
I feel like it's a Venn diagram of like music and martial arts. It's a big one where they cross.
It's all expression.
Right.
I mean, art is expression.
And it's all dedication too. Dedication in different areas, right? Dedication. You could be sitting there, even if you're on your couch, just shredding for hours and hours a day.
Oh, that's why I quit guitar. Because I couldn't force myself to learn these like super complex arpeggios. I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do it for my life, then obviously I'm gonna have to dedicate my life to it, right? I'm gonna have to force myself to play and force myself to learn the things I don't want to learn.
Yes.
And then I was forcing myself, and I was like, this is ass. I just want to do whatever I want to do. Okay? I want to do what I want to do. That's it.
It sucks.
And then that's when I realized the difference between a hobby and what you truly love. Because there's never been something in boxing that even I know that I don't want to learn or do it, but I've never said I'm just not gonna do it. Of course, everybody's like, "Oh, I don't feel like doing that right now. I don't feel like running. I don't feel like doing it." But I became a semi-professional runner for boxing. I hate running. And then they were like, you gotta run 3 miles, you gotta run 4 miles, you gotta run 8 miles, you gotta run 10 miles. I was like, can I not? And they were like, no. I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And that's it.
Yeah. You have. I mean,
you just do it. Yeah.
You have to, or else you might be the one on the other end of that homicide in the ring. Because staying in shape. I mean,
because the other guy, in a sense, wants it more. You know what I mean? If you're not gonna put in the time to
somebody else will.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Then there's somebody else that will, and it'll be proven one way or another. You know
but remember, it's not about that. This is self-expression. Just like how when you play music on stage, you're expressing yourself. You're not. I mean, yeah, you're doing it for the fans, but you're not. Okay, right. You're just doing you.
Right.
So when you're boxing, it's like somebody else can want it. Okay, yeah, that being mindful of that because of the competitive nature of boxing, of killing someone. But like again, and that's why it's paradox. You're just there to do better than you did before.
Exactly.
To better yourself and to express yourself the best way you can. So if I get in the ring and I do everything I wanted to do and I lose, I'm gonna be upset. Because that means I have to go back to the drawing board and figure out maybe what I want to do isn't the right thing. But as long as I truly left everything in the ring,
of course,
then that's okay.
Right.
You know, because sometimes that happens, man. People get robbed. People get, You know, they lose fights that they shouldn't lose. You get a draw when you think that you should have actually taken it. But you at the same time, you got to realize you can always do more to win. You can always get better. No one's perfect. So it's really it's intrinsic.
Yeah.
It's entirely intrinsic. Despite having to fight another person like you're in jail, like you're literally locked in a box with another dude or woman. And y'all have to, like, literally fight for your life. Just like I say it all the time in training. I was like, footwork is the most important thing in jail. I mean, boxing. Same
in jail.
thing.
Same thing.
That's it. Same boxing. Same thing. You're locked in the cell with another dude, and you got to fight.
Fighting for survival.
That's
Gosh.
it. But, yeah, so that's pretty much
How do you
for boxing for me.
like, how do you, like, I guess when teaching, how do you differentiate, like, when you're, because it's two different things, you know, like, because I've seen you teach before, and you have a really, you have a really good way of explaining things, and I feel like that in and of itself is a skill, because there's a lot of people, especially in the music world, well, I mean, I'm sure it's everywhere, but I see it quite a bit where, like, there's a saying, you know, it's like, what is it? Those who can play, and those who can't teach. But it's like, in a sense, it's like,
oh yeah, yeah.
You know, it's not maybe.
That's everywhere.
I don't necessarily agree with that to that extent, but there's definitely people that can play their fucking ass off,
and they
when
can't
you ask
teach.
them what they're doing, they're like, I just sort of do this.
Michelangelo Battio.
Yeah, dude.
Perfect example.
He's
like, all right, guys, so we're gonna run through the
picture. You know that guy, dude. Oh my god.
I was like, yeah, no one's playing an X guitar with you, Battio. Like, no one is doing that kind of speed, clean arpeggios. I'm sorry. You're not explaining anything.
It's like, can you rewind it and go back to when you were first talking?
Yeah.
So I can get started before you start.
He'll literally look at you and he'll be like, you just have to do it over and over. And I'm just like, oh my God. But, so as far as teaching, like,
do you tell yourself when you're teaching someone else, okay, you know, all right, look, all of your years of experience and everything you've accomplished, kind of, you know, actually put that to use because of your knowledge, but kind of, you're not teaching yourself, you're teaching someone else. So do you kind of have to kind of dumb it down first and keep it, I hate using that word dumb. It's not that, but just make it a little easier to explain it.
You have to liquefy
Or what's
it.
the strategy?
The strategy behind teaching.
I always, even when I was young, because of martial arts, I can't remember hearing where exactly I heard the quote, but I'm pretty sure it was a martial artist. I don't know. Yeah. But he said, teaching is a part of learning. You cannot truly master a skill until you can teach it.
Exactly. Okay.
Teaching is a big part of learning, in my opinion. That's why I've always wanted to teach. So when I was 12 and I was in Kung Fu and stuff, like, you know, I would do my absolute best to make sure that my teacher, you know, approves of my technique, because I don't want to ever teach anybody incorrectly. And then I would teach other people, hey, like, this is how you do chin-ah, like when someone grabs, you know, you turn and use their joints to do a lot, you know, just different techniques. So I would try to teach as much as possible. And then sometimes they would have me teach people in the class because they see that I understand the technique very well because I started teaching it. And then, you know, with boxing, like, I've always tried to help people and try to build them up if they were not as good. If I know something, I can teach them, and then if they know something, they can teach me, and we can all help each other. Like, boxing is how I make friends. Like,
especially if you learn something on your own that you can share that knowledge. I do that when I'm telling my music friends, and they're asking, we're talking about this or that, and I like to give away things that I have learned just on my own that are just quick and helpful that you necessarily can't just learn right off the bat.
Yeah, you
not calling it
get
really
lucky and find it.
Kind of like a convenient shortcut, you know. But
well, because then they take it and expand on it sometimes. You know
what
I mean?
And then everybody gets better.
Source.
You know, ups the game.
Success is an open source. I wrote an article. About that. About that subject for Mike Hernandez, and I don't know if he posted it or not. So we'll
That's a really excellent way of putting it, man. It really is.
Success is an open source. I wrote a huge a piece on it. He said it was really good. I was like, do you want to edit or anything? He's actually, I want to leave it. This is one of the best things I've ever. It's probably the best thing he said. This is the best thing I've ever read from someone that I know.
I've always
was
thought
like,
of it that way,
dude,
but that's definitely the way you say it is way cooler.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so true though, man, and it actually scares me sometimes. You know, in fact, I have. You know, weren't we saying that the other day, Jorge? I think I was telling Clay something, or I can't remember, and you were like, "Don't give away all your secrets."
Right. Well,
I mean, it's kind of true.
You gotta
I mean,
keep one, right?
Right.
You gotta keep one, but like
we got
I'm saying,
that back pocket.
if you're in a community and you're in a situation where like a little bit of information can help somebody's life out,
let it go.
Then why not? And because they're gonna do the same at some point with somebody else that's gonna come back around.
Well, you know what? And see, that's what I touched on in my article. There was a quote about life. It said, "The meaning of life is to find your purpose, your thing, and then the purpose of life is to give it away." And that quote, if you look it up, is actually uncredited. Now you see it on Facebook posts. You see it on Facebook posts. They said Marilyn Monroe said it, and then another Facebook post will say someone else said it, and another Facebook post will say it's uncredited. And then if you look at it, actually there's a controversy. They're like, well, some people say that this writer said it, this woman that was one of early writer, and she might have said it, but then there's no records of her ever saying like or writing it ever. So no. And you think about it, the person that said that doesn't need to be credited.
Exactly.
That success
That's
is
the
an
point of it
open
all.
source.
That's the whole point.
So it's like, and there's another thing, you know, keep one secret. There are no actual secrets. First of all, nothing's new under the sun. Whether you think you've discovered something or not, I've discovered certain moves or not, it doesn't matter because somebody else has done it before or does it in a different way. And it's just that I have my own unique way of doing it my way. And that's the secret. The secret is self-expression and doing it your way. But success being an open source is an important subject, and that's why I wrote that article. And we'll be able to read it someday, hopefully, maybe today.
Yeah.
But it's very important to me because there are no secrets, honestly. Like all these techniques in boxing, all the secrets, like, man, what's the secrets of how Floyd Mayweather is so good? How is Muhammad Ali so good? How is Mike Tyson so good?
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
there's no actual secret. Okay, you just watch and YouTube,
Which right there is fair game.
I know.
That's
YouTube
the thing.
and
That's
the internet, bro. There's no secret.
That's the thing we didn't have when I was a kid. You
Exactly.
know?
Back then, secrets were important. Now you can't have no secrets. Everybody know how to wrap hands.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows how Stitch wraps hands now. Everybody knows the little tricks, and then that on top of everyone
You
helping
go see
each
a
other,
video doing it.
it's over with. But you know that, and
And
that's what I think.
And think about how amazing it is now. Pretty much anything we could ever think of in our whole life, an old cartoon, anything. I just want to see what that looks like again. I mean, it's a click away. You know, we didn't have that as, and I never thought that I would do it as much as I do now. But learning tunes and cover songs and stuff, man. Well, YouTube's our best friend.
Oh yeah.
Because instead of just sitting there and going,
No, there's a program. I think it's called Chordify. It's an app on iPhone.
I didn't know this
And
either. Okay.
I'm telling you right now, this is an amazing app. It'll transcribe the sound of a video to notes. Now, it's not 100% accurate, but it'll give you the key, basically, of a song. So, look, I put on what song was it? Right? Dude, it's amazing. Like, it got me playing so much more popular songs because I don't like learning, like,
we don't
pop
have to
music.
work anymore that hard, you know?
It's amazing. I don't like learning, like, pop music and stuff like that. I learned, like, Alicia Keys' song.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the tabs for it, and I was playing. I was like, and then this Chordify, it plays, and it shows you the notes as the song is playing it, and you can, like, rewind it. Okay, G, A. Like, if you know your G, your A, and if you don't, it actually tells you, like, one of the variations of G. So I can do, like, it'll turn into tablarize. It'll tabularize the note, and then it'll just say the note. And then it'll say the next note A, and then it'll say the next note C flat, all this stuff. Some of them aren't. It's not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you the key. Like I learned so many jazz songs and stuff like that, like the key of it, because it's not.
I gotta download this app. Stat.
I think it's called Chordify.
Stat.
Dead serious. It is
all of our, like,
the
songs
best
to
thing.
time in half.
I even need it for my own songs.
Chordify,
You know, that I've
if you're
written
out
that
there
I've forgotten.
listening, please
That's awesome.
sponsor us.
Yes.
Hey, imagine an app for boxing like that. You know,
I wrote up one.
a video that's kind of, I don't even know how that would work. A video that watches you or watches someone else.
Well, one thing I will say that I found in common with like boxing and music, one thing is like combinations are to me like
rhythm.
Scales and chords. To me, that's sort of the relationship that I can, because like in order for you to make a certain melodies, you know, you need to, well, what key do you want it in? Well, and do you want it major, minor? So there's these guidelines that you have. And so then with boxing, it's the same thing where it's like, well, are you orthodox? Are you southpaw? Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Are you fighting somebody that's, you know, and then like this different combination of footwork with this different combination of punches work for this situation, just like how this chord and this melody will, or like this scale and this melody will work over this chord.
And the thing is, you learn that at first, but you know, as a musical student, the more you know and the more you learn, the more you get intrinsically, the less you actually have to do that. Because I don't have to think about, you know, whether I'm southpaw or not so much as whether I have leverage or not. Right. You get the baseline of what it is.
And then, you know, you're obviously training for a fight, you know, because this kind of touches on what Jorge's saying. You know, let's say you're training for a fight, and you yourself, at least me, for instance, you would get into a rhythm everyday training. And do you try to keep that open because you don't really know exactly how that's going to be the day of the fight? You know, does that screw you up? Like, oh man, I thought this guy was going to do this, and
that's why you don't train. Like, I don't like training moves like. Just moves. Like, okay, when you train, and you have to train moves, right?
Yeah, of course.
So like you do a step around to the side, 2, 3, right? Step around, 2, 3, right? So you have to advance the drill. That's what we call advancing drill. When you advance the drill, you make it more fluid, realistic, and more organic, right? It's alive. So it changes.
Do you kind of gauge that? Like, do you go back to the film of maybe whoever you're fighting and go, okay, I'm gonna train a certain way for that.
Principle-wise, okay. You don't just say, oh, I'm just gonna duck his overhand and do this. Like, no, you know the guy wants to land an overhand. So, hey, let's try to fight like you know, let's try to fight at a distance, maybe to bait it out. That way you don't
feel it
like
out.
If he doesn't throw it, then what?
Yeah, then you kind of,
you know,
yeah,
if you
gotta
okay,
change your approach.
now I'm still, if I did by principle, I'm still fighting on the outside. Like, I'm comfortable. We good. You don't want to throw overhand, good. Eat these punches on the outside, then that's fine. But if I say, all right, go in that first round, duck the overhand, go to the body, it was like, well, I came back in the corner with my ass freaking beat, and I'm like, well, coach, he didn't throw a single overhand. He's like, I know, we should have done something else. And I'm like, well, that's because your style isn't organic. It's not living.
Yeah, you have to be alive. You have to adapt as it's happening.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's all about adaptation. So life is about rhythm and change. And change of rhythm.
Well, yeah.
Rhythm of doing something over and over again, because in boxing you have to do something over and over again, and then change it. That's what life. I could literally apply that to everything in life. I think that's probably what I'll write because Mike Hernandez wants me to write 2 pieces so that he can release them back to back. I think I'm going to write my second piece about rhythm.
That's great, man.
Yeah. It's a fundamental.
I'm glad
we
did
really
this,
is.
man. You know a lot of. He's not just a boxer, man. Jorge, this guy's. For those of y'all tuning in, we're with Xavier Wilson, awesome boxer, plays guitar, like amazing with video games. You know, military, ROTC, college. I mean, this guy. Y'all need to watch this whole thing. This is cool. This is cool. I'm getting kind of a.
Dude, I was gonna say,
starstruck here, man.
let's take a little break. We've got 8 people watching right now. 2 of them probably being us.
That's all right. So, at least somebody's watching.
Well, a lot more will be watching on YouTube. We should
try and give away these
later,
tickets.
sure.
And then I was gonna say, man, some horror stories or some funny, some horror stories from the ring. I would love to.
We gotta have at least one, right? We gotta hear at least one of the bad one. Well, maybe a good one.
Or
maybe it was a horror story for the opponent.
Really,
I don't know.
Really good one, yeah.
Was it? We don't want to. If it's homicide, I don't know. You know.
Yeah, no.
It was close to homicide. I thought I was gonna die.
I don't know, man. There's some crazy stuff that's happened out there. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now. There's so many times where I've gone into a fight with every reason to lose the fight. Like,
really,
every reason to lose the fight. Like, I fought. In fact, that was the one where I had my draw. But I'm gonna be honest. I thought I won that fight. And everyone watching thought I won the fight 5-1.
Wow.
And like it was a 6-rounder. I hurt the guy like 3 times. Like I had him, you know, I was moving forward. I wasn't against Rose. There's no reason I thought why I should have lost the fight, but you know, he also did some good things too. And there's always more than I can do to win. So, you know, I take that as a lesson, and I'm gonna do better. But anyway, going into that fight, my dog died. My dog Apollo died in the summer while I was running with him. He died of heat stroke. He died. His heart gave out, and
Wow.
there's so much goes into that. I raised him since he was 6 weeks, like, but they found them in a dumpster. They found a bunch of puppies in a dumpster, just covered in shit, and this and there, and they cleaned them up. He had a little bald spot on his tail because of the infection from all the poop in their box.
Yeah.
But they cleaned him up, and it grew back, and he was the best. He's the best dog I've ever had. I loved him like a son, and it just really hurt. It really hurts. It still hurts today.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, man.
And he died, and also I was kind of going through a breakup with an awesome person, and I broke up with them, and it was something that I needed to do, but I had all these reasons.
Yeah.
I had all these things like, man, I shouldn't be able to focus, shouldn't be able to concentrate, shouldn't be able to do this, shouldn't be able to do that. You know, I should going in there, you know, unfocused and disturbed and stuff like that. And that was probably one of the best I've ever fought.
Yeah.
You know, that fight is one of the best I've ever fought, because then that's another thing. Remember, self-expression.
Yeah.
So that's the happiest I've ever been, is in the ring. Remember, that's what happened after my first fight. My first fight, because I fought, you know, in the amateur stuff, like the pros is a different level. And I fought, and after that, I mean, I already knew what I wanted to do and all that stuff, but it was a dream come true. It was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I love fighting. I just love fighting. I just love it. But
wow. So you thought going into that fight, you were just down. Life was pulling you down, and you were thinking, I'm probably gonna lose this fight. But then as the fight, when it started, then towards the end and everything, you're thinking, I beat this guy. Is that what you're saying?
Not exactly. I've never gone into a fight thinking that I will lose.
Okay.
It's just that sometimes you look at the things around you and they can make you nervous, because it's like I've gone to fight with injuries.
Yeah.
Right. I've gone to fight with I'm gonna tell you right now, something always goes wrong. Like one time I lost some front row tickets, and those are very expensive. Ooh. I lost like 4 of them. Luckily, and I try to stay positive. You know, I always try to stay positive. So luckily, I knew exactly what seats they were. I knew exactly who I sold them to. I gave their name to the promoter, and I told him, you're not going to see these tickets, but I have the money for them. So can you please write down, I have their first and last name of every ticket and their seat number. Just write down their names and put them at the front door, and tell them when they come in that they can come in because they paid. Yeah. And they said yes, and it worked. But that was horrible, and it's so distracting because I sell my own tickets.
Yeah.
And I handle all of that money, and people are trying to send me money, and hey, can you take this check? You don't have to go to the bank now, right? That's another errand that I have to do while I'm cutting weight, right? You know that, right? No? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just take the check and I'll figure it out.
Sure, man.
Anyway, all that stuff like stresses you out, and it's just like,
yeah.
Man, like how does this not get to these fights? Like there's fighters that once you get signed, you have to worry about that. You have to worry about selling tickets, none of that, right? That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
But they're coming up. They have to hustle. It's hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean.
Oh. The worst thing that's ever happened is I had a fight at 135, okay? And I signed my contract at 130. It says 135 on my contract. And I went to the weigh-ins, and I weighed in 134.8. And I was like, good job. And then we did our face-off, and then the guy was like, you got to lose that weight. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're supposed to be 132. And I was like, I have my contract right here. I pull up my contract, put it in his face. And he was like, I got my contract right here. And he pulls the contract out, and his says 132. It was some kind of clerical error. It was some kind of error, obviously, with the promoter. And
did you tell him you need to gain the weight?
We both looked at the promoter, and then he was like, and then the guy was like, well, I'm not fighting. We'll throw the fight unless you lose the weight. I was like, okay.
And you did.
So I put my sauna suit on, and I went in the parking lot, And I started running and doing mitts, and then I would run on my rest, and then do mitts and run on my rest. And then I sat in the car and I did sit-ups because it was during the summer, so it was hot. So I was sitting in the car, close the door, and I would do sit-ups. And I was like, I was sitting there.
Dedication for sure.
I didn't lose all the weight, but I did. I mean, he saw that I suffered. He drained me, right? So he was like, "You good? It's fine. You tried to lose weight, and it was an honest mistake. You thought you were supposed to be 135. Cool." But I was like, this motherfucker. See here, over 2 pounds, bro. 130. It was 133. It was 2 pounds. I remember because we did a hashtag 2 pounds for like the longest time. It was like 2 pounds.
It's like, come on, guys.
Coach
does
was
that
like,
really matter? I mean, 2 pounds.
It does, and
does it really?
Well, yeah. He had his opportunity to drain me, and to make me worse for my fight, and I beat him up pretty bad. But I took those 2 pounds off of his back, and and there you go. I got my 2 pounds back. But you know. That
shows a lot of character, man. You know, because you're like, well, my contract here, it's clearly states 135. I don't have to do shit.
But you have to remember, the boxer's job is, and this is your number one job. This outside, right? Because in the ring, you look at it. Your job is to kill somebody, and that's it. But your actual job as a government, like what the government recognizes you for, what everyone recognizes you for, is to put on a show.
Entertainer.
You're an entertainer. If you fail as a boxer and you fail to do your job, that's why so many boxers work through their injuries. They work through those things. They work through their mental instabilities. Because I've had so many mental instabilities and wanted to have breakdowns, but I don't know if it's from martial arts since I was so young, but I've learned to internalize things. And my father's such a great teacher. My mother too. Like, I've had such a great environment. Not perfect.
Really? Yeah.
Not perfect. But mom and dad they're the best parents that I could ask for. I mean, like, I would, if I could be born at any other time, I would say exactly where I was, because I love my parents so much.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Dude, it shows, man. You're great at what you do, you know, and you got a good head on your shoulders, and you know what I mean. So it's you could tell that's
you're knowledgeable in a lot of areas, not just one thing, and you don't come off cocky, and you can totally tell that your parents did a great job, you know. And you're lucky. A lot of people out there don't have a close relationship with their parents. You know?
I know, and I didn't even understand that.
A lot of people
until
don't.
I got into like middle school, and my best friends, like, I love them so much, and I love Sam, my best friend Sam, since I was 4 or 5. I met him in kindergarten. Wow. We've been best friends since. Like, we just talked last week. I mean, we go years without talking to each other directly.
See,
and we just pick back up.
That's amazing.
Like we never stop. I love him so much, and you know, he had a hard home life sometimes, but his mom loved him very much. But he had some complications in his life, you know, and I would see that and see people that have to thrive through that. And I become so much more thankful and grateful for my parents for not having to go through that. But yeah, man, it's so hard for some people.
Do you see that sometimes? I don't know if you could say, like, because fighting is a bit of a, I guess, just kind of like how music, some people get in it for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes there's people that get into fighting for the wrong reasons, or they think that it's going to fix something, you know, or some sort of, yeah. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Sometimes, and sometimes it does. I mean, I've been talking about him this whole time, but I look at Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody knows his story, but his dad and his uncle are both very good boxers. I think they were both world champions.
Yeah.
If not, definitely one of them. I think the uncle. But also, his dad used to sell crack to his mom. So that's awesome. And then he would sell drugs and stuff like that. And one of his other uncles actually shot Floyd Sr. in the leg while he was holding Floyd Jr. And he was using Floyd Jr. as a shield. Wow. Because he knew that he wouldn't shoot the baby. He knew he wouldn't do it. So he was using so that he could guard his vitals so that he wouldn't die. You got to understand.
That's crazy.
A father using his infant son as a shield so that they can both get out of something alive. Like the complications and the different things. And so you have Floyd growing up in that, right?
I did not know any of that.
He grew up very poor in what Michigan. I can't remember what it's
I don't know where he's from.
I can't remember he's from a very poor place. Very poor place. He had to go back and renovate a lot of stuff, but the place, I mean, you can't, one person can only do so much. But and then, you know, his father getting put in jail, you know, just towards the end of his amateur career, or maybe towards the middle. He was a teenager. His dad went to jail. So he just had his uncle, and then he wasn't even going to school for a while. He was just boxing, and somebody called him up and flew him to Florida to spar with Pernell Whitaker when he was still a young amateur, 17, 18 years old, 17, I think. And you got to realize this is like during the school week, right? This is when most kids are in school doing school stuff, okay? He just got flown because of his talent as a boxer to spar with Pernell Whitaker, one of the greatest boxers of all time, probably one of the greatest southpaws of ever.
Yeah.
And, you know, to have him do that and then finally make some money after he won, he got a bronze medal in the Olympics. He should have got gold. He beat the hell out of that boy.
Yeah.
And they didn't let him advance, but he beat the hell out of that boy. He should have won. Anyway, he almost threw that away. He gave his bronze medal to his grandma. Wow. But he went pro and he was signed. I think his first fight was 50 or 100K.
Wow.
And that was like baby money to him, you know, now.
But back then,
you know,
it's like
and
huge deal.
even back then, he knew like he's gonna make it a lot bigger.
Well, yeah.
But you gotta understand, man, like he had nobody to guide him, like, you know, and treat him like that. So when he says some off the wall stuff later on, first of all, you got to realize a lot of his trash talking stuff is
that's part of the game.
That's show.
Yeah.
Because before that, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he didn't talk trash. He was doing interviews. He was nice. Like he was real cool. He was showing people techniques, showing people that there are no secrets. Like he said that himself. He said there are no secrets, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna show you right here. So like, hey, just come up. You know, the reason behind it might seem like a secret, but there's a reason. Like you work off of this one because they're here. All right. If you work this one, you're gonna go over. Like, you know, just little tricks and stuff. And then nobody was giving him the big fights. He wanted to fight De La Hoya. He wanted to fight all these other fights that he wanted to call out, the people that they say he fought after their prime. He called them out in their prime. They didn't want to make the fight because promoters wanted to save their champions and make sure they have their run, and then you gotta wait in line to fight the champ.
Yeah.
So they can make the most money off of it. This is a money game. So he actually bought himself out of his top rank contract. I think it was 20K. He paid 20K right on the spot to buy himself out of his contract, and he managed himself, and he became his own promoter because he said, well, if I talk shit, people will watch the fight, they'll generate the money, and we'll throw some money up for the first fight, and then we'll make it happen. He made the Oscar De La Hoya fight happen.
Yeah.
He beat him, and, you know, some people argue about the fight, but the point is, he came in that fight with the biggest buzz in the world. Everybody in the world was paying attention to that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in the world was watching the Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world was watching the Canelo fight. Everybody in the world was watching the Shane Mosley fight. Everybody in the world was paying attention to him because he took charge of his own life, and he's kind of flourished from nothing. Now you got to remember, this boy as a baby was used as a shield for a gun.
That's crazy.
And his dad was selling crack to his mom. And then you got him turn into something else, and he's helped so many people start their businesses that helped. He's actually helped a lot of people. If you know about the Floyd Mayweather Foundation, they actually help a lot of people. But they don't talk about that. You know, they talk about the media, right? They talk about
what do people
alleged woman beatings and all this other stuff. And it's like, if you actually did your research, it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's stupid. But you know, that's another topic.
The price you got to pay to be that big of a star, I guess, you know. Wow.
Should we ask the...
We should ask the question, yeah.
Oh, man.
Because, you know, friends
These
out there, Thursday's
man.
A kick-ass fight, man, at Cowboys. And so you're giving away 2 tickets, right? If
man.
If some people can chime in and...
All right, we got... This is... Oh, and it's just perfect timing. We got on record, we got 12 people watching.
Nice.
So we got 12 now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right, so you guys tuned in. So, look, I got some trivia questions for these 2 tickets, okay? So let's see if you can answer at least 1 or 2. But if you get all 3, you definitely get the tickets.
All three would be great.
Hey, y'all ain't getting all these, so y'all gonna be googling y'all ass off right now. I know y'all be. You're gonna have to.
I was just gonna say, no cheating, guys.
Now,
I mean, let's really try.
What?
We can't help if they do that though. We can't prove.
The first one's easy. this is the first one, okay? How many weight classes are there in boxing right now? There's a lot of them. How many weight classes are there in boxing? And I give you guys about, I'll give you 30 seconds.
I know that the stream is a little delayed, and so we'll give it a little bit of time and
Yeah,
see if
yeah, yeah,
anybody comes up. Let's see.
You see, you got the answers over there, so
20 seconds.
just
maybe,
record.
delay.
Yeah, it'll come up. It's
I'm
fine.
learning a lot today as well, so this will help me.
Yeah.
Someone can chime in and.
Nick, no Googling. Nick.
It's so intriguing though. I know.
And what I'll do is I'll go into the other questions and then we'll come back for the answers.
Yeah. I was gonna say we should drop all 3 questions and then whoever.
Now you guys remember that was the first question. Okay, how many weight classes are there in boxing? All right. Now we're gonna go to the second question. This one's a little bit harder, but it's still kind of pop culture. Okay, these are very famous boxers. Who were the Fabulous Four? This is the 70s and 80s. The Fabulous Four. There's only one Fabulous Four in boxing, and these were them. I'll give you a clue. One of them was my favorite boxer of all time, Sugar Ray Leonard. The other 3, you need to name them, okay? Then give you guys a little bit to answer that one. I tell you, Sugar Ray Leonard's my favorite boxer. When I have short hair and like shorter hair, like a little afro, everyone says I look like him. I've done like comparison pictures. Like some people sent me comparison pictures. They're like, "Look, this is you." I was like, "Oh, I actually do look like Sugar Ray Leonard. That's cool. Crazy.
Yeah.
I look a lot like him."
Yeah.
But all right. So now I'll do the last question. This one's hard. This one's real hard. I'll have to give you a clue on this one too. Okay. Who was the first black world champion in boxing? You need to listen very carefully to this sentence, to this question that I'm asking you. Very carefully, okay? Who was the first black world champion in boxing? I can give you a clue, okay? One thing, it's not Jack Johnson. All right, so if you say Jack Johnson, you're incorrect. I know, he's the first black heavyweight world champion. This one was in the 1800s, and he is also he's also credited with inventing shadow boxing, which is where you pretend you're in a fight and you shadow, you just pretend you practice these moves, right?
So this guy's from the 1800s, really?
Late 1800s, I think it's 1880s, 70s, maybe 90.
All right, I think it looks like we might have possibly a winner. So here are all the comments. So Alejandro Martinez chimed in with 18, so I believe that's incorrect.
Oh,
Adam
Alex
chimed in with 19, and that's also incorrect.
What's that?
No, sir, you're dead wrong.
Dustin Hesbrook chimed in with 17.
Hey, Dustin got that one.
He's got 1. By the way, Anthony Gonzalez says we play in DMC5 after this.
Absolutely.
So
I just beat... I'm trying to S-rank every mission, so I just did like 19 of the 20 today.
I'm still beating Red Dead, but I saw that. I'm gonna hop on that afterwards. Okay, and then it looks like we might have a bit of a tie. Dustin Hesbrook he mentioned the Fab Four: Hagler, Hearns, Duran, and Leonard.
Yep.
Okay, so
Roberto
he's got
Duran,
2 points.
Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns.
And then Anthony Alvarado said Jack Johnson. Unfortunately, that one's wrong.
Nope.
Kate also said John Johnson, Arthur Johnson.
That was his original name. Yes, he changed it to Jack.
Okay, yep. He's wrong. And then Alejandro Martinez said George Dixon.
Hey, he got the hardest one, dude.
And then and Dustin Hesbrook answered with Galveston Giant. So
that was his nickname. He's a tiny guy. He's a bantamweight. So it was kind of like it was funny. He's the Galveston Giant. He's like this big. Like,
is that correct? The Galveston Giant?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like Dustin Hesbrook has all 3 correct.
Yo, just Dustin. Now the thing with this is he can't make the fight. I know he's in Oklahoma. I know Dustin.
So then Alejandro technically
he's second place. So. Yeah. And now I don't know if he can make it either. Now we'll see. If they can make it, then of course give them tickets. And if they cannot, then I'd like to give them a T-shirt.
Dude,
So just have them. Dustin, message me, man, and then message me your address. Alex, you too. Just message me your address, and I'll try to get you a T-shirt.
Word. So if you can make it, guys, chime in and let us know. And if for whatever reason Anthony Alvarado and Adam both attempted, so, and I mean, I guess ultimately the tickets will, so whoever can make it, maybe we can think of one more question towards the end. I was going to say, I guess while we're waiting on another, on one final response, I guess some advice, dude, for what would you say to, like, people that want to follow in your footsteps? It's sort of, you know, like they see fighting, they're maybe at the crossroads of whether they want to take it seriously, you know what I mean? Like, what would be the one thing that you could say to them that, you know, that I guess would have...
Besides, don't get killed.
Don't die.
Don't die.
Yeah.
Don't die. Don't die.
In the words of Street Fighter 4 world champion, he won Evo, and they asked him to do an interview after. His name is Infiltration, and he doesn't speak the best English, but he does know some English. They said, "What do you have to say to the fans, guys?" This is Evo, right, in Vegas, the biggest tournament in the world, thousands of people watching it. And he says, enjoy your game.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Now, let me break down like what that means. What that means. Enjoy your game. Like, enjoy what you're doing, because it's fighting, right? You're gonna win and you're gonna lose, and you're gonna do bad and you're gonna do good in training, right? In the fight, in everything. You're a person, and you have to express yourself. Enjoy yourself. Do whatever you want to do. I said this before, I say it again. Pursue your interests, even if you're not good at it. Because if you're bad, you can get better. But if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're going to hate yourself. Okay? Exactly. You're going to get depressed like I did. I got real bad. I was in a real bad place.
Really?
And then dropping out of college and being a very poor, I'm still a poor man. Very poor. I don't have a lot of money. I'm very wealthy in my friends and you guys, and building and connections with people and
doing what you love.
Yes, doing what I love is the biggest thing. I don't care how much money I get. Now, of course, you need money to survive. I get it, which is why I try to make some money somehow.
Sure.
I fight professionally.
I totally feel
grind.
if you stay on the path you're on, man, you're gonna be great, man.
I hope
gonna
so.
Get to that next level, you know, and I think you will, man.
I
think
hope
you will.
so. This fight's a big breakthrough fight for me, okay? So my opponent is John Arellano, and he's 9-1 with 9 knockouts.
Wow.
Okay, I'm 10-1 with 1 knockout. Now, I'm going to talk some shit. Okay?
All right.
I don't talk shit, but when I do, it's because it's very true. Okay, now he's 9-1 with 9 knockouts. He's only fought one guy with a winning record. And the guys that everybody has fights, you know, that are easier when you're first starting, because I'm learning on the job.
Of course.
So your first fighters are going to be cherry picked. They're going to be tomato cans. They're going to be bad fighters that are expected to lose to someone that's good. Yeah. It's your job to prove yourself and do well. Now, the guys I fought, most of them, even if they were losing, they had losing records, they haven't been knocked out that many times.
Yeah.
And I did my research. I seen his opponent.
So this is going to be interesting on Thursday, man.
His guys, they've been knocked out a lot of times. This is one guy he fought. The guy was like 2-5 at the time. Then he went on to be like, 3-26, knocked out 14 times. Whoa. Like, come on, man. Like, if I fought him, I would have knocked his ass out too. There was one guy that I fought with double digits. And at the time when I fought him, he was in double digits, but he ended up with double digits knockout losses.
Wow!
And I knocked him out.
So yeah,
but the other guys, they've been knocked out 1 time, 3 times maybe. And like, there's one guy that fought Maurice Hooker. Maurice Hooker's a freaking world champion now, but he fought Maurice Hooker on his way up. He got knocked out by him. And I was like, well, duh, it's freaking Maurice Hooker, like. He's a freaking champ. Like, that's the world champion. Like, the guys I fought are tougher, all right? So I'm going to tell you right now, I fought the tougher guys.
Yeah.
He got a lot of knockouts. So he's got something. He's doing something right to put away his opponents. That's good.
Of course, yeah.
But I think I'm the toughest guy he's ever fought.
This is going to be interesting Thursday, man. And he's probably gearing up too, and
I hope
this
so.
is exciting, man.
I'm excited.
Dude,
I'm very excited because he's good. So I know that I'm gonna fight at the level that I want to. My first fight, even though it was dream come true and all that stuff, the guy that I fought was so bad. He was awkward. He was weird. I should have got him out of there, honestly. But it was my first time, So I was still learning. But I knocked him around a couple of times. We both had braids. I literally beat the braids out of his hair. Literally, his hair was out after the fight. I'm not joking. I'm not like being mean. Right. I could show you pictures. I'm not.
Well, yeah, I believe it.
But so like every person that fights honestly and expresses themselves, they want a good fight. They like the Saiyans on Dragon Ball, right? They live to fight. They love the challenge. They literally live for that. So
yeah,
that's my thing. I'm excited.
Well, so we're excited for you, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And
man, if I'm gonna have to catch it on Fight Pass because I have to play that night.
Oh.
I know, dude.
So we all
I know.
work. I have to work too, but no, we're definitely gonna watch it,
dude. And that's like the. I feel like that's part of the reason why we're trying to do this, just like as the podcast and everything, as well as to like have a chance to be able to like hang out outside of situations where like, because like Nick and I, a lot of our friends are musicians, and so like we can't ever watch
it's tough to
anybody
get out and do
play,
things.
Or go and like watch anybody in action because we all work at the same time.
To the nightlife.
Yeah. I get you, and that's kind of similar with me. I teach at night. I teach when everybody gets off work. Yeah. So when everybody gets off work and they want to hang out, I'm like, well, I gotta teach other people today.
Yeah, like exactly.
And then I fight, so.
Right, and fighting's an event that usually happens at night and all that. So, but dude, man, it's luck, dude. No luck needed, dude. You're fucking badass. I love watching you like train and all that. So I'm looking forward to what'll happen on Thursday, man, for sure.
Me too.
Dude, best of luck to you, and thanks for doing this with us, man. I mean, this is cool, and
yeah, it was my coach was like yelling at me. He's like, "Freaking cancel that shit! You don't need to. You should be training right now. I gotta train it. I gotta leave it." I was like, "Coach, I've been training all day. I'm gonna do.
I need a little break.
Like, you gotta be the people's champ. Okay, you gotta. When dude, I haven't eaten since yesterday. Like I haven't drank water. Like." I ran several times in sauna suits. You don't know what I've been through. I'm gonna tell you right now that this whole time talking, I've been cotton mouth. Like, I can't breathe very well. Like, I'm struggling. But you have to be the people's champ, right? That's what you have to do. Dude, that's what Coach always told me.
100%, man. Yeah. Dude, and we appreciate that so much, man. For real,
man.
We value your time a lot, dude. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, dude. So please let everyone know where we can find you, how we can get in touch with you, anybody that wants lessons or anything else, like, or what,
Yeah, if you guys, so I mean, I'm fairly active on Instagram and Facebook. Both of those, just look for Professor X Wilson, all one word. Okay, that's my Instagram at Professor X Wilson, and then if you look up Professor X Wilson, you're gonna find my athlete page on Facebook. I sell some t-shirts. I've designed most of my own. Actually, I designed all my own t-shirts.
That's great.
I designed them myself for the most part. I sell them off of Teespring, so you go to teespring.com/stores/MSB Monkey Squad Boxing, right? MSB store. If you just type that in, or go to my social media, that's my website. Okay. And you can buy a Monkey Squad t-shirt. There's one I just released with actually me on it. It actually is fine. Like, it looks fine. I'm not vain. I didn't want to put myself on a t-shirt.
I know, it's a little weird.
I was like, I don't want to put myself on a t-shirt, but then people were like, no, you have. Like, I really want one. And I was like, all right. But I have one where it's my monkey that I drew. It's a monkey head. It actually looks really good. And it says plus, and then it's a boxing glove, and then it says equals heart. Like, that's my favorite shirt. I love that shirt. Man. But that's on there. It's on the websites.
We'll have to get a couple for the studio, man.
Yeah, and if you guys want to train with me, I actually train people at UFC Gym Brook Hollow. It's in San Antonio here. It's actually right down the street.
Yeah.
And then I also teach at Ohana Northeast. This is their new location over there. I teach there Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon or at 11:30, and then I teach Monkey Squad Boxing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 7 p.m.
That's great, man.
I do lessons. I work with a lot of people. I work with people that never thrown punches before, or with old people, or with fat people, or with people that are athletic, that want to be fighters. I built up a couple of fighters. I actually coach amateurs. Like, I have an amateur coaching book, and I will go to an actual amateur fight, and I'll be the coach. And it's pretty awesome. It's very fulfilling to see these people expressing themselves.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Well, good deal, man. I thank you again for being here, and Jorge, thank you for bringing this awesome guy here for us this week, man.
No. Thank you.
I've learned a lot. Now I'm even more scared to death of boxing. You know?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I'm telling you, we gotta get him in there. We gotta get him at least like one or.
I'll kick some ass. I'll go do it, man. I'll go do it.
Yeah.
I'm good for at least 30 seconds. You know.
That's it, bro. We'll set your rounds to 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
First fight.
Like, who's this Tubalard? Get him out of there. He's making us look bad. You know?
I can tell you right now.
God, he's fat.
Whatever you throw in there, I've seen worse. Okay.
Well, good.
I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And I'm right down the street from the UFC, at the one at Bricalo. So
you better bring that ass.
No excuses.
What you doing?
No excuses, man.
Excuses.
You live right here, bro.
Yeah. Let's start next week for sure. I'm
Word.
ready.
Well, we'll figure out a little later offline who will get the tickets here. But dude, again, X,
it looks like Alex.
Like Alex?
It looks like Alex will make it.
Okay, cool. So
Alejandro.
perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
Congrats, Alex.
Yes, and thank you everyone that was watching. Thank you.
Tune in next week. Same place, same time, 6 to 8. Bandcave Hour. Jorge, thanks again. Xavier, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
God bless you guys. Take care.
Me like Bandcave.